What's going on, everybody? Going Yooper here, and today I'm working on some tags for my snakes so I can put them on the front of their bins. So I'm getting them printed up, and then I'm going to get them laminated and have them on the front of the tubs. I just think it looks nice and clean and a good way to do things. Today I want to talk to you about a few different things: racks, substrate, enclosures. The other day I watched a live stream from DEA Exotics. Go check them out. Great channel, great people, a lot of information. And he was talking about how there is formaldehyde in melamine board. And he is right, there is formaldehyde in melamine board. And that's something I didn't know. And to be honest with you, I'm a little ashamed. I usually research a lot of stuff, and I didn't really research that. And I should have just figured. But it started getting me thinking. I'm like, well, you know, anything is going to have that you use is going to have something kind of harmful with it. And PVC board has vinyl chloride in it. Not good for you, not good for your snakes. Melamine board, it's got formaldehyde in it. Not good for you, not good for your snakes. Plywood, a regular plywood rack. It traps moisture, gets mildew and mold. Not good for you, not good for your snakes. And you know, trying to find the perfect rack system, not easy to do. I plan on switching out, hopefully, to Freedom Breeder racks next spring, next summer sometime. That's what I'm working on. So I will be putting in a few more melamine racks until then, and then I plan on switching everybody over. That's my plan anyway. But what I'm finding is that if you look hard enough, you can find something wrong with really anything. So there is no perfect system. And that brings me to enclosures. Some people frown on people using glass tanks for their snakes. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with it, other than it takes up so much space. If you have a lot of snakes, it's very hard to keep them all in those type of enclosures. If it's done properly, with proper ventilation, proper humidity that's kept inside the tank, as well as heating, it can be just fine. Again, I use tubs because we have a large number of snakes. It's a lot easier, and the snakes seem to be a bit more comfortable in the tub enclosures. They're a little bit tighter and a little bit more private, and they seem to like that. So that's why I use them. Substrate. Now, this is a big one. This is one that you can literally find a negative to every substrate out there. There is one that I haven't been able to use yet, and that's being made by Ed from CNC Reptiles, and as soon as I can get my hands on some, that will be my go-to substrate. I think it will be the most healthy and most useful substrate to date. Just from what I've seen and heard and talked to Ed about, that is the direction I plan on going. When, I don't know. Ed, hook me up, man. I'll pay. But people used to use pine bedding back in the day for their snakes. A lot of people. It was probably one of the most used substrates back in the day for your reptiles. It just was. People didn't realize that the oil in the pine shavings was bad for your snakes, especially if they digested it while they're eating their food or any of that stuff. It is not good for your snakes. And I don't know anybody that's using pine now for their snakes. Aspen. I've used aspen. I'm not a fan of aspen. Aspen, it can work okay, but it mildews and molds quickly. If you use it, you have it in there for 2 days, you will see little black specks start to form on individual pieces of the substrate. That's mold, mildew, not good for your snakes at all. It doesn't hold moisture very well either. And for me, it's not a good substrate that I would use again. That doesn't mean you're wrong for using it. Again, all this is in perspective. We can only do the best we can do for our animals, and that's all you should at least be trying to do, is looking out for your animals and doing the best you can for them. If you use aspen and you change your tubs out every day or every second day and it works great for you, no problem. Not judging anyone here. ReptiChip and the coconut husk stuff. I don't like using it because I've had instances where my snakes are eating their frozen thawed, some of that is stuck to it, gets in their mouth, it gets stuck in their tooth, it gets an infection. I've seen snakes swallow it and it be an issue. It's just not a substrate that I really care for. Is it bad to use? No, not necessarily. You know, everybody has their own opinion. I use white paper towels. Is that the best substrate to use? No. White paper towels have a lot of bleach in them to keep them and make them white when they go through the chemical process, and it's not the best. Paper towels with different printing on them. Now you're dealing with different inks with you know, you're not sure what's in those inks, what chemicals are in those inks, and at the same time they're also used bleach in that process as well. Not the best. Am I judging anybody for using them? No, I'm not. I use white paper towels myself. I used to use newspaper. I did research newspaper and never really found anything negative about it because it was with soy ink. So that's as far as I went. Talked to a friend of mine that owns a printing company, and after hearing DEA actually say something about it, I'm like, well, let me look deeper into this because I don't want to do anything that's going to harm my snakes, and I know none of you do either, you know, so that's why I'm making this video. And I find out it's not necessarily the ink in the newspaper, but the chemicals used to clean the presses and the printers that the newspapers are printed from. That's bad stuff. And right away I switched and put everybody on white paper towel. That's just immediately, that's what I chose to do. Am I judging you if you're using newspaper? No, I'm not. I used it for years and years and years, and I've never had any issues that I know of with my snakes. So, not judging anybody for whatever you use here. I'm just trying to let you know that you can find something wrong with anything if you look hard enough. PVC, everybody's building racks out of PVC now. It's got vinyl chloride in it. Not good for your snakes, you know, and not good for you. Does that make it wrong to use? Not necessarily. Like I said, every product out there for racks and stuff that I've looked into over the last 24 hours, you can find something wrong with it. Just do the best you can by your snakes. Air quality, very important. If you have your snakes in a room that you're keeping either like cleaning chemicals or car products or anything with odor, ammonias or bleaches, washrooms. I know some people have used their laundry rooms for snakes. That air quality that you get from running your wash machines with different detergents in it can be irritable to your reptiles. Does that make you a horrible person if that's where you keep reptiles? No. Keeping a clean area, very clean area. Excuse my desk, it's a little messy, most of my work happens right here, but keeping a clean area for your reptiles is very important. And not just for your reptiles, for your rats too. Your rats are going to be fed to your reptiles, so keeping them as clean as possible is very, very important. When you clean out your snake tubs, you don't want your snakes sitting in urates and their feces. That puts off an odor and it could be harmful over time. You know, you don't want them sitting in that stuff. When you clean out your tub, don't just clean out the tub, clean the inside of the rack as well. With your rats, you know, I clean out my rat tubs. I've only had them for about a week and a half, but I've cleaned them out twice in a week, and that's what I'm going to stick to. I don't want to take a chance of getting the horrible smells that I've heard a lot about. I don't want that, so I choose to do it twice a week. I know a lot of other people do it once a week. Nothing wrong with that. But air quality is important. Clean, non-dusty. You can't, you know, you don't want to have all that stuff floating around. You breathing it in isn't good. Your animals breathing it in isn't good. So all you can really do, there is no perfect system. There is things that are better than others. And as long as you try your best to do best by your animals, you will be fine. If you see somebody doing something, I've said this before, if you see somebody doing something that may be harmful to their animals, don't call them out in public and shame them. Do it like DEA was just talking about. He did it great the other day when he did his live stream. He was just saying, and you know, he found that there was an issue with the formaldehyde and the melamine board, and it could cause fertility issues and things like that. That someone, I don't know at all who it was, I don't even think he said who it was, but they had found that they had a better hatch rate and stuff when they switched from the melamine board to something else. But again, if you look hard enough, you can find something wrong with anything. So from now, I'm going to keep with my melamine racks. I keep a close eye on my snakes. Every single day I clean. Every single day I change their water. When I go on the cruise, I will have somebody coming up here a couple times, so they might have their water for 2-3 days tops before it's changed, but it will be taken care of. You can just do the best you can by your animals, and if you have something to say to somebody, you see somebody doing something that you deem to be wrong, private message them, let them know. always received better that way. When somebody leaves kind of a negative, oh, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this to your snakes and keep your snakes this way or whatever, I tend to ignore that. But when somebody private messages me, you know, hey, I'm just looking out for you, you know, I found that this can cause this issue or that issue, it opens up my eyes to it, and it at least makes me want to research it or listen and hear what they're saying, and that's important. So how you approach that stuff is very important. If you truly care about somebody else's reptiles, that's how you will approach the situation and take care of it. If you're just trying to be mean to somebody and you don't really care about the reptiles and you just want to shame them, then go ahead and leave a nasty comment on their video and see how far that gets you. But if you really want to look out for them, then your private message and do it in a kind, nice way and helpful way, and you will get a much better response. Alright, that's it for today. Got so much stuff to do. I got to finish these tags. I probably won't even finish it today. I got 2 long work days ahead of me, and I want to be fresh and ready to go for that. I got a lot of stuff done here. I'm still waiting on my mail. Rats, I haven't got a call yet saying they're in. I've been there 3 times saying, hey, haven't heard nothing yet. So I'm still looking for a male rat to put with those females so I can start breeding my own. I want to thank everybody for your support. You guys are awesome. This community is amazing. I love each and every one of you. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. Let you know when I upload a video. And as always, see me bye.